Witam, pozdrawiam serdecznie i zostańcie z nami, bo będę dzisiaj mówiła i po polsku, i po angielsku, a to dlatego, że znów mam powody do radości, bo jestem z niesamowitym gościem i teraz powiem jej, co ja powiedziałam tutaj po polsku. So I welcome everyone who is first time on this channel and has a chance to hear it out in English. I have a reason to be very happy today because I have a guest that is connected to what I'm doing. And she's traveling the world, living in Germany, in Bulgaria, speaking English, German, Bulgarian. I don't know what else the language, but she will introduce herself shortly. And her name is Yana Milewa, if I say it correctly. And she will tell us more today about Akashic Records. She apparently also reads Akashic Record, but she has her own way of doing it. So welcome everyone, Yana Milewa from Bulgaria. Hi Yana, how are you doing today?
Hi Joanna, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the channel. It's wonderful to speak to you and to all the amazing people that are here on your channel and are looking to expand their spirituality and their mind and improve their life and the life of everybody else. So thank you.
Thank you for being. I am already feeling those, warm vibes. I'm like getting already hot, feeling the Akasha coming, the stream of the energy is coming. And now I'm gonna switch to Polish language. Zatem, ponieważ wiadomo, że moje tłumaczenie nie jest najlepsze, więc będę się starała tutaj oczywiście i rozmowę prowadzić i jak najbardziej przetłumaczyć to, co mówimy. Yana Milewa również czyta Kroniki Akaszy i ja oczywiście jest mi już bardzo, bardzo ciepło, ponieważ wiem, że tutaj bardzo dużo z nas już ma dostęp do Kronik Akaszy, a my zbieramy razem te puzzle. Jana się z nami przywitała, a jest z Bułgarii, jest wdzięczna za to, że może z nami być i będzie też w Polsce. I didn't translate it in exactly everything, but now I'm gonna get better. So can you now introduce yourself so I can listen and directly translate a little bit more?
Sure, thank you. I will try to give you the shorter version. Yes, so I was born in Bulgaria, and when I was 22, I moved to Germany. And since then, I've been living in both countries and also traveling the world because that's one of my passions. And I also go to Poland as well. And I love the country, I love the people, and that's why it's really great that I have the chance to speak with you today and have this interview also in Polish.
Jana mówi, że jest z Bułgarii i w wieku 22 lat zamieszkała w Niemczech i od tej pory podróżuje, nie tylko mieszka trochę tu, ale też bardzo lubi podróżować, jest to jej pasja i teraz cieszy się na to, że też już przyjechała do Polski, będzie jeszcze na seminaria w Polsce i bardzo jej się ta Polska nasza podoba, bardzo piękny kraj. And beautiful country, Poland, and beautiful people, right?
Yes, absolutely. I remember the first time I went to Poland. It was for an Akashic Records seminar, which we taught there. And I entered the room and I started crying. I was like, it's such a beautiful energy, such a wonderful people. And I really, really love working with Polish people.
Kiedy Jana była po raz pierwszy raz w Polsce, kiedy weszła do pokoju w seminarium, które prowadziła, aż zaczęła płakać, ponieważ czuła tak bardzo piękną energię. I would say you maybe had some reincarnation in Poland. Did you find one?
It's possible. And also, I mean, it's Slavic country as well. So
similarities.
Yeah, it's like a closer culture to mine. And yeah, it's really always great fun to
So now it's the main question. How did it all start with you? That you knew that you are tapping into something extraordinary, profound, that it's called Akashic Records. Did you start to study? What was your, like, the first transition into it, like the impulse? Moje pytanie jest, co było tym pierwszym takim czynnikiem, który spowodował, że zaczęła mieć ten dostęp do Akaszy? Czy się tego nauczyła, czy był jakiś taki właśnie impuls, jak to się wydarza przy przebudzeniu?
Yes. So for me, I was always very interested, of course, like everybody, I guess, watching this video. I was always very interested in spirituality and all of these topics since I was a child. And I was reading one book after the other, looking for the book that will give me all the answers. But every human book always gave me some answers, but also some new questions. And then I started learning how to do energy healing, and I learned several different modalities as well, like hypnosis and other things like that, until I found out about the Akashic Records, and I said, okay, this is the book I was always looking for.
Więc Jana była zawsze zainteresowana rozwojem duchowym i oczywiście czytała jedną książkę za drugą, co sprawiało, że znajdowała odpowiedzi, zarówno jak i więcej pytań. Aż trafiła na książkę właśnie o Akaszy i wtedy coś, można powiedzieć, kliknęło, że to było to, czym chciała się bardziej zająć. Did you have anything specific, a feeling that you knew that, okay, this is it, that's really what I want to do? How did that feel, or how did you experience that?
Yeah. The first time when I opened my records, it was like a sigh of relief, like I was finally home, like I finally found what I was looking for. And I got this feeling the first moment when I opened my records. And the masters and teachers immediately started talking to me, and we started having a conversation. And when I told that to my teacher afterwards, she was like, okay, they were waiting for a long time for you. They had a lot to tell you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Jana mówi, że pierwszy raz, kiedy otworzyła Kronika Akaszy, poczuła ulgę, poczuła się jak w domu i ci mistrzowie zaczęli do niej od razu przemawiać. I kiedy powiedziała o tym swojemu nauczycielowi, powiedziała, zaraz się dowiemy, chyba to był mężczyzna, że ci mistrzowie bardzo długo na nią czekali i w końcu mieli szansę z nią porozmawiać. Who was your teacher? I assumed in Polish it was him.
It was actually, I'm a very curious person, and I went and studied with many different teachers. I am myself also teaching Akashic Records seminars, but I always think there is always something else to experience and to learn from someone. So my first teacher was actually, she was an American lady. Her name is Maureen Saint Germain. And we had an online course like this over Skype. And later I have studied also with Gabrielli Orr. She is born in Germany, but lives in the US. And also I've worked with Ernesto Ortiz, who is with Mexican descent, but lives in the US. And also I worked with some Bulgarian teachers as well. Basically, I worked with the records for more than 10 years. And I have to say it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever received. And my life has never been the same since I started working with the records.
Great. Miała różnych nauczycieli, i kobiety, i mężczyzn. Marie Saint-Germain, Gabrielli Orr i Ernesto już nie powtórzę tego nazwiska, nie znam, i pracuje ponad 10 lat z Akaszą już i oczywiście jej życie się całkowicie zmieniło. Zaraz zobaczymy jak. How your life changed when you started to read, when you received this information? What has really changed, like in your life? What's something probably became more important, something less, right?
Well, I have to say that I don't want to brag, but I don't have really big problems in life anymore. Like I have a great family, and I'm healthy, and I'm financially stable, and I feel fulfilled. So we can ask in the Akashic Records all kinds of questions and receive guidance. But the biggest thing which I believe, and which for me is the most important one, is that I always feel loved, and I never feel that I'm alone. I know that I'm always supported, and for me that's the greatest gift of all.
Beautiful. Myślę, że to, co wam teraz powiem, już niektórzy zrozumieli na pewno, to jest to, co wszyscy chcą. Odkąd Jana czyta, mówi, że no może nie można tak mówić, ale mówi, że po prostu nie ma więcej problemów w swoim życiu. Ma każdą sytuację i zdrowie i finanse, wszystko jest ustabilizowane, ale to, co jest też bardzo, bardzo piękne, to to, że nigdy nie czuje się sama. Zawsze czuje właśnie tą opiekę i że każde pytanie można zadać i otrzymać odpowiedź. Czyli no nie ma tutaj sytuacji bez odpowiedzi, nie ma sytuacji bez rozwiązań. I just added from myself, there is no situation without a solution when you are in Akasha. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is absolutely correct. And also, I mean, there are things that happen in life which influence us a lot. And it's always great to be able to get a higher perspective, to get an explanation about it. For example, all the things that happened the past couple of years with COVID, and now the war in Ukraine. I have to say, with COVID, in the beginning, when all of this started happening, I felt very like, oh my God, what's that? What's going on? And then I went into my records and had a conversation with the masters, and in, let's say, 10 or 15 minutes, it was all resolved for me. I felt at peace. I understood the idea behind it, this, you know, the evolutionary purpose of all of it, the human side of it. And the last couple of years have been one of the best ones of my life so far. So yeah, you can get advice about any kind of topic in the records.
Jana tutaj mówi oczywiście o tej sytuacji całej covidowej, kiedy też pytała o to, ponieważ też odczuła to, co my wszyscy, co tutaj się dzieje z tym światem i na świecie, o co tutaj chodzi. I w bardzo krótkim czasie właśnie usłyszała odpowiedzi od tych swoich mistrzów z różnych perspektyw, z tego, co tutaj zrozumiałam, żeby wam przekazać, od strony właśnie ewolucji człowieka, od strony światowej, jak to wygląda. Would you like to tell a little bit more about this? You have to be maybe a little bit careful, because since we're going to be on YouTube, sometimes things are censored. But perhaps, what was the most important thing? What calmed you down, considering that COVID situation, what's happening in the world, and political situation and social, that masters told you that, because I'm sure they didn't tell you, it's gonna be fine. Or?
Yeah, no, that's not what. And so, of course, it's important to know that each one of us has our karma. We have our lessons to go through. So we go through painful situations, but we don't need to suffer in these situations. And as long as we can learn from that and grow from that, it has fulfilled its purpose. So what I asked in the records back then was, when is the world going to return to how it was before? You know, when it's going to become normal again?
Mhm.
And they said, normal. Was the world in which you were living normal? Do you want that world back? You know, with all the hunger in the world, with all the suffering.
Wait, I need to translate that. I'm sorry. I don't want to miss that one. That's very important, I think. Chciałam po prostu, żeby też powiedziała więcej właśnie o tej sytuacji, co jej powiedzieli, bo wydaje się, że nie powiedzieli, tylko będzie cudownie, będzie fajnie, wszystko wróci do normy. Mówili też, że no każdy z nas ma te swoje lekcje, jakąś tam karmę i przechodzimy przez bolesne sytuacje, ale nie musimy w nich cierpieć. Natomiast ona się zadała też pytanie, czy świat wróci do normalności, i mistrzowie zadali jej pytanie w tym momencie, jakiej normalności? Czy na pewno chcesz wrócić do tego, co było? Czy to był normalny świat dla ciebie? Okay, continue. Was it normal world for you before, and would you like to come back to it?
Yeah, so they actually showed me that it's a good thing that the world is changing, because the world we used to live in was not perfect, was not ideal, and but it's our choice what world we are going to create out of it. So we need to actively do our part to create the world we want to create. But yeah, they basically said it's not going to return to how it was before, but that's a good thing.
Powiedzieli, że to jest to dobrze, bo te zmiany sprawią, że teraz będziemy mieć ten aktywny i mamy ten aktywny czas, kiedy należy działać, i teraz to do nas należy, jaki świat tworzymy. My teraz tworzymy nowy świat.
And maybe just one very human, very small example about it is now that the world learned that everything can be done online, people actually want a lot of freedom and flexibility, because for many of us, it became possible to work from anywhere, anytime. So that gave us a lot more freedom and flexibility. So from one side, maybe some freedoms were taken for a while, but others were given as well.
Czyli też pokazali jej, jak jedna wolność została odebrana, ale dało to od razu też możliwość wolności, że mamy więcej czasu, że możemy pracować online, że możemy się łączyć, że bardziej możemy zarządzać swoim czasem w tym wszystkim.
Yeah, so, and the rest was a little bit more personal, so.
Yes, of course. Cała reszta oczywiście była bardziej taka już osobista. Teraz zapytam, jak Jana się łączy z tą Akaszą, ponieważ wszyscy jesteśmy w Akaszy. Bardzo wiele jest takich programów autorskich, można się z tym zgubić. Wy sami śnicie, donosicie mi o tym, piszecie mi o tym, i każdy z nas praktycznie ma dostęp do Akaszy. I teraz powstało mnóstwo kursów, więc ja się teraz jej zapytam, jak ona to robi i czym to się różni od tego być może, co tam inni robią, żeby poznać więcej, jak ona właśnie to czy praktykuje, czy wchodzi. Now I'm going to ask you about what is actually different about your readings from Akasha, because, you know, we are in the world when people are getting confused. There are, I don't know, maybe thousands of seminars about Akashic Records. Everybody is going to teach you. And also I can tell you that we all are in Akasha, we all are Akasha, and a lot of people who are listening to us, they have access to Akasha. So during those past 2 years, since that COVID happened, and I got online too, so a lot of changes for me too. this is amazing thing, that people actually perceive some personal things about me and write me, they dream about it. So there is a lot of those lucid dreamers out there who tap into different portion, and we bring those puzzles together. But still, people can be pretty confused, and they spend a lot of money for such a course, always looking for something. So how do you connect to Akasha? How do you teach to connect to Akasha? What's so unique for you in your work?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's actually very important, because from one side, it's great that the Akashic Records are becoming more popular as a topic,
Mm-hmm.
and people are starting to look for seminars and for books and want to learn how to connect with the records, because it's my very deep belief and want that every person should be able to learn how to connect with their records, even if just to have these wonderful masters and teachers on our side to support us and help us with our daily life and our spiritual evolution. But on the other side, also there are people who try to benefit out of it.
Yes.
So I can say for myself that there is a method that has been given to humanity around 100 years ago. It's a sacred prayer that has been received by Johnny Prochaska in the Mexican pyramids of the sun and the moon. He received this prayer from the Akashic Records, and he was given the task to spread it to humanity, because, as you said, there are many people who are born with this ability, but this doesn't mean that only these people have the right to access the records. Actually, each one of us has the right to access the records. So with this prayer, anybody who is interested can learn it. And it's important that the seminar which people book, or the books that they read, that they use this prayer, because there are many different prayers now circulating around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically because of copyright, I would say, because the people who are teaching using the original method, the original pathway prayer, they don't allow everybody to teach, to keep on teaching. You have to sorry?
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to understand, and also how to translate that
Yeah.
exactly. So let me get back to that. Hold that thought, please. Mówi, jak ona zaczęła. Oczywiście, że z jednej strony świetnie, że tyle ludzi się tym interesuje. Akasha jest popularna. Akasha ma branie w tym naszym wieku obecnym. I z drugiej strony oczywiście jest tak, że korzystają na tym inaczej inni, ci, którzy tam być może nie mają takich dobrych intencji. Natomiast 100 lat temu mówi, że pewnej pani, Johnny Prochaska, dano modlitwę, świętą modlitwę, jak otworzyć te kroniki Akaszy, i ona bazuje właśnie na tej modlitwie. Mówi, że jest dużo takich modlitw różnych, ale to, co Yana robi, ona oferuje tą modlitwę i mówi też, że na tych swoich seminariach używają tej metody, tej modlitwy, i ta Johnny miała misję taką, żeby dać tą modlitwę światu. Natomiast teraz, zaraz to pociągniemy dalej, że czasami jest tak, że jak ktoś ma tą modlitwę, to są copyrights, że nie można tego dalej nauczać. I would like to get more into how is it with that prayer. So if you teach that prayer, is it copyrighted? And do you think those masters in Akasha Records said, okay, we copyright this, only those with copyrights can use that prayer. So are the people who learn that prayer from you are able to use it, teach and spread this to other people, or is it copyrighted?
So, you know, for any kind of, let's say, career or for any kind of skill, you have to go through a specific training, a specific education to be certain that what you do afterwards is of good quality. So the prayer itself in English is not copyrighted. But there are many people who just attend the seminar and take the seminar materials, which are copyrighted because they were developed by the person, by the teacher, and they start teaching that. And the problem there is that such a person is usually hasn't achieved the necessary
level of consciousness. I get
exactly.
you. That's very important.
Yeah.
I will translate that part now, because I understand that very well, because it happens to us all. Oczywiście ta modlitwa nie jest z kopiami, że tylko ci mogą używać, którzy tam przeszli ten trening. Natomiast chodzi o to, żeby zabezpieczyć to, że nauczyciele, którzy tworzą swój własny program, żeby potem ktoś, kto nie przyszedł raz i no nie ma tej praktyki, nie ma tej odpowiedzialności, nie ma tej świadomości, żeby zdarzało się po prostu i zdarza się to i sami to obserwujemy. Mnie też się zdarzało, że ktoś taki po prostu bierze materiały, które my przygotowujemy, czy taki nauczyciel przygotowuje, i bierze je za swoje i sprzedaje to jako swoje materiały, czyli to jest no, program autorski ma to do siebie, że ma te prawa autorskie, copyrights. I get that very well because this is like an author program. So you do create your own. So as a creator, as an, I would say, artist, and it's happening all over the world. You create a song and someone else is stealing it, right? So yeah, everybody can sing a song, but of course, it's not cool if other people take money for it, right?
Yeah, and from one side, of course, it's not fair.
Yeah.
So the human teacher who had created his or her seminar and teaching the Akashic Records. But actually the bigger problem is that the people who attend a seminar of a person who is not prepared enough to teach, they might decide that the work with Akashic Records is not for them because it didn't work well, they didn't enjoy the seminar, they didn't have any healing happening, any aha moments. So they might lose on a big opportunity there. They might decide to move away from the Akashic Records, which would be very sad.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Let me translate that. Bardzo ogromnym problemem właśnie jest to, że ludzie, którzy uczą i są do tego nieprzygotowani i przekazują, ci ludzie nie będą mieli tego momentu, kiedy poczują, że ta forma Akaszy coś dla nich dobrego przynosi i odejdą od tego, i to jest właśnie ten taki smutny moment, że nie będą mogli tam dotrzeć i nie będą mogli uzyskać odpowiedzi dla siebie. Yes.
Yes. So would it be interesting for the audience maybe for me to say the prayer?
Yes, fantastic. Teraz Jana nam pokaże tą modlitwę, zrobi to z nami i prawdopodobnie wejdzie w Akaszę dla wszystkich. Zaraz się zapytam, czy teraz na czacie warto sobie zrobić jakąś intencję. Everyone who's going to listen later on, and some people are on chat because I'm premiering, will probably need maybe intention. So maybe shortly you will tell us what to do, because I would like you to ask maybe if you like to open the Akashic Records, however you call it, and show us or tell us, or maybe there is some message from the masters and we need to hear it now.
Yes. Actually, in the seminar, when we learn how to access the Akashic Records, it's a 3 days long seminar. So it takes a while to build the connection and to trust in yourself. But now I would be happy to read the prayer for everyone, so they can at least feel a little bit the energy of the Akashic Records.
Fantastic. Normalnie takie seminaria trwają 3 dni, gdzie uczymy się zaufać sobie, ale teraz ona nam tą modlitwę zaprezentuje. Please.
Yes. So yeah, maybe people can think about the question they have, and then I'm going to read the prayer, and then let's see what happens. Maybe they receive an answer now or later today.
Mm-hmm. Shall I translate, or shall I just let you read it for the purpose of energy and connection? I will maybe let you do that.
Yeah, you don't need to translate.
Okay. Teraz każdy, kto tutaj jest z nami, proszę, żeby zadał pytanie, na jakie chcecie uzyskać odpowiedź w swoim życiu. I ja tej modlitwy nie będę tłumaczyła, bo chodzi o energię, przepływ energii. Także teraz słuchamy Jany. Okay.
I ask God if He have His shield of love and truth around me permanently. So only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of me to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. So this is the prayer that we use when we open our own Akashic Records.
Mm-hmm.
And if people want, now they can close their eyes and just feel inside themselves and imagine that they're connected to the divine, to God, and just invite for some love and for some wisdom to come to them, to be sent to them in any form, in shape.
Jeśli macie ochotę, zamknijcie oczy i ta modlitwa dotyczyła tego, żeby była tarcza taka, która chroni w tej relacji ze źródłem, z mistrzami i możecie sobie wyobrazić połączenie z tym źródłem, światło, i pewnie jest na to też cała procedura, każdy ma też inną i posłuchać, co wam przyjdzie, ok? Mhm.
So maybe we can have a short pause here, a small silence.
Yes. I think that people will probably chat what they will come with. You will read that later. If you will be around, I will send you the video. Prawdopodobnie teraz, kiedy połączyliście się na chwilę, a my tu sobie rozmawiamy i no, nie dajemy wam tej ciszy, o którą Jana mówi, że musi być taki moment ciszy, zapauzować sobie na przykład wideo, to przyjdzie wam coś na pewno do głowy. Jeśli macie ochotę się tym podzielić na czacie, to bardzo was proszę, a my pójdziemy teraz pewnie dalej. Are we now, because they can pause the video also for that moment and they can continue. What's going to happen next?
Well, right now I just invited the masters and teachers to support everybody who is watching this video and who heard the prayer. But they are always around us. They always support us and they always want to help us. And this is important to know. And people who learn how to open their own records, they basically learn how to talk back to the masters and teachers, how to hear them. But they're otherwise always around us, always wanting to help.
Jana też mówi, że oni zawsze są obok nas. To, czy my ich usłyszymy, zależy właśnie też od nas, ale są cały czas dostępni. Ci mistrzowie są w naszym polu, są obok nas i zapraszamy ich do wsparcia, odpowiedzi na nasze pytania. Are you opening, I mean, you opened the Akashic Records, but how does it work? People asking you questions? Specific questions that you can tap into and hear the answer for people.
Okay.
Would you like to try it out now?
Sorry?
Would you like to try it out now?
So what we can do with the Akashic Records is actually many different things. We can talk to the masters and teachers who are in the Akashic Records, and these are beings of who have mastered unconditional love. That's why we call them masters. And some of them have decided to teach us, and these are our teachers. And these are beings who have had incarnations in physical form, like Jesus or Buddha, and also other beings that never had physical incarnation, like the archangels, for example. So many other ones that we don't know from many other dimensions and worlds. So yes, we can ask them questions. That's one of the things we can do. We can have a dialogue with them.
A mistrzowie, których ona nazywa, żeby nie pomylić, kto jest tak naprawdę tym mistrzem, są to mistrzowie, którzy osiągnęli bezwarunkową miłość i byli na ziemi, tak jak Jezus, Buddha, żyli tutaj, bądź też nie, bądź też archaniołowie, czy też inne byty. So are you talking about the alien races too, like Arcturians, Pleiades, and so on? They are also sort of masters that can channel the answers for you, right?
Yes, so like we from Earth have our ascended masters, like Jesus, Buddha, and many other ones. Also other races, other planets, other galaxies have their own, and they're all connected to the Akashic Records. And when we ask a question, the being or the group of beings that is most appropriate to answer this question will come forward and will give us the answer.
Jest bardzo interesujące właśnie to, że też ona się kontaktuje z różnymi rasami, z tego co tutaj zrozumiałam, ale też miało się taką malutką rozmowę przedtem. I są to też inne właśnie rasy, ale i one też mają dostęp do tej Akaszy, także one też z nami współpracują. Ja jej tutaj zadam takie troszeczkę podchwytliwe pytanie, czy uważa te inne rasy jako mistrzów. I'm going to give you a very tricky question now. Are you considering other races like Pleiadians, Arcturians as masters? Because I'm not sure if they achieved all this, unconditional love.
Yeah.
At least not all of them.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It's not a tricky question. I wouldn't say that every being who is from the Arcturian or the Pleiadian is a master. But yes, they are, the majority of them, of a higher consciousness than us. But there are many different levels of consciousness in the universe. And the Akashic Records is the highest level of consciousness. So if somebody is of a higher consciousness than us, this does not mean that they are from the top level of the Akashic Records.
Perfect. So that's important. Yes, thank you for that. Because I think it's very important to make sure people also understand to not make this mistake. If someone is just higher, that is a god. It's not. And sometimes they are also tricking us because they are having different level of consciousness, maybe a little bit more. Okay, let me translate that. Jana sobie tutaj właśnie z tym pytaniem bardzo dobrze dała radę. I tak samo mówi też o tym, że to, że ktoś jest wyżej, ma tą wyższą świadomość, nie znaczy, że jest mistrzem. I to, że jest wyżej, nie znaczy, że jest już na tym takim topie, na tym najwyższym poziomie w tym czytaniu z Akaszy, z Kronik Akaszy, że to już jest tak bardzo, bardzo wysoko. Natomiast rzeczywiście są inne istoty, które są wyżej, wydawałoby się, od nas, ze świadomością i one też potrafią nam udzielić informacji. Ja tutaj pozwoliłam sobie dodać, że nie wszystkie nam tutaj tak dobrze życzą, ale mają rzeczywiście większy tą ekspansję świadomości, wiedzą więcej, mają inaczej te zmysły rozbudowane. Okay, so are you going to do a reading for us?
Are there some questions? Sure, we can do that.
Now I have to think of question what people would like to ask you. So I have to tap into the future to ask what they want to ask you. That's going to be fun.
Sure. Just maybe one thing about, because you mentioned future, the information which we find in the Akashic Records is the information of the past, so past lives and our childhood, the information about what's going on right now, and also the possibilities about the futures we can have. There is not one fixed future for each one of us. We have free will to choose which future we are going to take. And this is important to understand. And I always tell my clients, if they ask questions in readings, that if they ask when is something going to happen, that's not a good question, because if they don't change anything, maybe never. And
Thank you for that one.
But when we ask what do you need to learn or what can you do in order to achieve that goal, then we can receive an answer about, okay, you need to learn this, you need to forgive that person, you need to grow in that direction, and then you have the possibility of achieving that future.
Thank you for that clarification, because this question is the one that I also don't like when I do readings. When something happens, it never comes out right. The more people insist on it, the worse it gets. Let me translate that. Zatem, oczywiście ja tutaj powiedziałam, że pójdę w przyszłość, żeby wyczuć wasze pytania, żeby teraz zadać, ale oczywiście wiemy, jak to bywa, że nie ma tej linii czasowej i Jana to wychwyciła fenomenalnie, ponieważ czyta teraźniejszość, przeszłość i potencjalne linie czasowe. Nie ma tej zafiksowanej jednej linii. Zatem mam tutaj dosyć dużo możliwości pomyłek. I sama jestem ciekawa, jakie pytania chcielibyście zadać, ale tak myśląc kolektywnie, myślę, że zadamy pytanie właśnie na czasy nasze obecne teraz i popłyniemy i zobaczymy, co się wydarzy z tego. I just translate. Aha, i jeszcze jedna rzecz zapomniałam. Te pytania takie, kiedy coś się wydarzy, mówi, że są najgorsze. Ja oczywiście z tym bardzo, bardzo mocno zgadzam, dlatego że jeśli ten człowiek nic nie zrobi, to może nigdy się to nie wydarzy, więc o wiele lepsze pytanie, kiedy pytacie w Kronikach Akaszy, są takie, co zrobić, żeby, jak do czego się uczę, jak do czegoś podejść. One są o wiele, wiele lepsze i więcej będą nam zawsze pokazywać. No to co? Mam nadzieję, że wyczuję dobrze moment i na pewno zbierzemy jeszcze te pytania, jeśli będziecie mieć ochotę te pytania zadać na czacie czy pod filmikiem i Jana do nas zawita, być może jeszcze raz wejdzie dla nas w te pole Akaszy, żebym mogła jej te pytania zadać. I just said that it's fantastic that you just wonderfully confirmed that it's so hard to tap into one direct future. So I can make a lot of mistakes, what possibly people can ask. But if they would ask me questions under the video later on, maybe we meet it again. And according to those things, you can have additional material. Okay. So perhaps, because I think this question is, I think everyone would be interested in that question. We are living in this time of change, and we hear you must act. Everything sounds so banal. You must act, change the world, create a community, yeah, make supplies of food and water, be prepared. But perhaps what is the most important right now for us to do so we smoothly, inspiringly, joyously continue to go into our better, path and growth on earth?
Yes, thank you for this question. It's a very important one. And the answer will be individual to the different people, but also there is a more general question, general answer for all of us. So I'm going to touch on that. It's actually very easy. Mm-hmm. We have to do this which is in front of us. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a politician. So I cannot do the things which a lawyer, a policeman, or a politician can in this moment. But I'm working with people. I'm working with spirituality. I can support people. I can help them. So what the world or God, the universe puts in front of us, this is our task. And people always know. They always know what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. They just often fight against it because they find some logical reason why they shouldn't do it. But internally, it's like a rash. It's like something urging you, something constantly pushing you and not giving you peace. That is pushing you in the right direction for you. So the right direction for each one of us might be different, but each one of us feels it the same way. It's this inner knowing, I'm supposed to go there. I'm supposed to talk to this person. I'm supposed to do this and that. The things which you believe are right, that's what you should do.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. No więc tak, zadałam oczywiście to pytanie, co teraz dla nas w tym świecie, kiedy my słyszymy, działajmy, róbmy i wszystko już brzmi tak banalnie, róbmy zapasy, wszystko już słyszeliśmy, więc teraz takie właśnie moje pytanie było, ale tak konkretnie, co każdy z nas może zrobić, żeby wejść w ten nowy świat przyjemnie, lekko, inspirująco, z radością, z przyjemnością właśnie. I Jany odpowiedź od mistrzów jest taka, że tak indywidualnie dla każdego będzie to co innego, oczywiście w zależności w jakiej sytuacji jest, ale czujemy to tak samo, czyli zajęcie się tym, co jest przed naszym nosem. Zajęcie się dokładnie tym, co pojawia, co uniwersum nam daje, czyli nie rzucanie się na pracę innych, czy ktoś, kto nie jest lekarzem, no nie będzie leczył, czy politykiem, tylko zajęcie się tym, gdzie są nasze zdolności. Jana podała swój przykład, ona pracuje z ludźmi i zajmuje się wspieraniem ludzi. I to jest jej praca, ona się tym w tym czasie ma zajmować. I to jej dobrze wychodzi. Więc to, do czego każdy z nas teraz ma takie wewnętrzne wołanie, trochę to będzie takie uczucie, że musimy coś zrobić. I dokładnie co, ale my zazwyczaj znajdujemy na to wymówki, żeby tego nie robić, żeby to odsunąć od siebie. To wewnętrzne, to takie ciągnięcie, może czasami będziecie czuć to jako presję, żeby coś zrobić, że to jest wasze. To pewnie jest to wołanie, czyli to, do czego każdy z nas tutaj się nadaje. I just added, it's because you mentioned your skills, this is what you're good at. It's very likely that everyone has to do what's in their best skills and abilities, what they came here with.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very important as well not to be in fear and panic and but to be in the opposite, to cultivate peace, to cultivate harmony, to cultivate joy, to cultivate love. And this is also something which we can receive from the Akashic Records. We can just open our Akashic Records and say, please send me the perfect energy matrix for health, for abundance, for peace, for joy, and everything else that doesn't fit this matrix to get dissolved. And like this, you can receive instantaneous healings or transformations if it's the right time for you, if you have resolved your karmic lessons until this moment.
Let me, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will translate, hold that thought.
Yeah.
To, co jest teraz bardzo ważne, to oczywiście, żeby nie poddawać się strachowi, a wręcz przeciwnie, żeby zawsze utrzymywać tą otwartość na pozytywnej jakości, czyli nawet proszenie, otwarcie się na tą Akaszę, na te kroniki Akaszy i proszenie wprost. Proszę, wyślij mi najlepszą energię na dobrobyt, zdrowie i w ten sposób oczywiście tutaj Jana zaznacza, że jeżeli nie mamy mamy już odrobione te lekcje czy karmiczne, czy to, czego właśnie się uczymy, to będzie nawet dojść do takiego natychmiastowego uleczenia, sama prośba. No tak samo prosia będzie ci dane, podziała, czyli o najlepszą taką energię na dany moment, która może nam pomóc coś osiągnąć, czyli właśnie radość, miłość, otaczanie się wszystkimi tymi dobrymi jakościami, prosząc nawet o nie, czyli bycie wypełnionymi nimi.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure everybody listening right now knows that the energy we radiate, that's what we attract to ourselves. And very often, especially spiritual people, they're like, oh, I don't feel good charging about, spiritual work, or they just try to make themselves smaller. They don't feel comfortable taking from others. And what the masters and teachers say is that we need to become what we want to see in the world. If we want to see a world of abundance, then we need to invite abundance in our life. We need to become abundance. And by this, we're going to invite more of this energy in the world and affect other people as well, and teach them also how to have this for them in their lives. So instead of maybe being afraid of what's going to happen, just invite the energy of peace, the energy of harmony, the energy of community, of joy, of all great things that you want to have in your life.
Okej. Zatem Jana tutaj mówi, że wszyscy są zaznajomieni oczywiście z prawem atrakcyjności, przyciągania, wibracji, i co jest ważne, to to, że mamy się stawać tym, co chcemy, mamy tym emanować i stawać się właśnie tym dobrobytem, tym dostatkiem, zapraszać to do nas i oczywiście uczyć innych o tym samym i zapraszać właśnie tą energię. Pozwolę sobie właśnie tutaj dodać tak leciutko i myślę, że zobaczymy, czy Jana mnie tutaj poprze, czy nie za chwilę, że z tą energią dobrobytu to jest właśnie to, że nawet jeśli nie mamy dużo, ofiarowanie komuś czegoś, taki podarunek być może też otworzy tą energię dla nas, że mamy dostatek i też ten wszechświat nam coś zaoferuje z powrotem. Jeśli oczywiście zrobimy to z czystą intencją. I added something from myself, but I assumed maybe you will back me up, maybe not, we'll see. So I added this little part about the prosperity that, in the world where now the economy is like, it's not enough for everyone. It's, the prices going up. Even if we do not have much, becoming that prosperity is sometimes offering something to someone, whether a little gift, whether a little, even a warm word to say something. And then that already creates that vibration, that feeling of positivity. So it's very likely the universe will send us back something good.
Yeah, that's true. It's just important that we do it with a good heart and not like, okay, I will give you so that I receive
Yes,
more.
the pure intention. I think that's the, yeah, because of course.
Yes, yeah, indeed, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. Is there anything, how, when you connect to Akasha records, when you're feeling your masters, are you feeling them right now? Are they sometimes telling you something you didn't ask? Like telling you, hey, tell Joanna this and this. It's important information, and the people needs to know that.
So right now I opened my records before we started the interview
Right.
because actually it's them that have the good messages. I'm just human. But they always respect our free will, and they never impose their opinion on us. They when somebody comes for a reading, I ask the questions that the person has. Maybe I give some suggestions because of my experience, how we can formulate the questions in a more useful way. And then at the end, I always give stage to the masters and teachers, asking them, okay, is there something else that you want to say which we haven't asked you? And then they usually also have some important message to add. But they will not impose. They will not come and like knock on your door like, I have something important to tell you. Unless you listen to me, it will be a disaster.
Right. I will encourage your masters just in a second. Just let me translate that because that's also very, very important message. Zapytałam się, czy teraz ci mistrzowie, jak ona ich odczuwa, czy są tutaj, ona otworzyła te Kroniki Akaszy, zanim myśmy zaczęły nagrywać. Także czuję obecność swoich mistrzów, połączenie. I ja się zapytałam, czy jest coś, co jej mistrzowie chcą przekazać wam, nam, światu. I ona tutaj odpowiada, że oni bardzo szanują wolną wolę człowieka i nie narzucają tego, informacji, o które nikt nie pytał. Więc ja sobie znowu pozwolę zadać pytanie i zachęcić tych mistrzów do odpowiedzi. So now my question is, if I may ask your masters, how my channel, what I'm doing here, and my work on YouTube that happened to me, let's say spontaneously, I never thought about it. What is the purpose, the best purpose of this channel to serve us all and bring us to another level?
Okay. Just comment about that, because you said for me to ask my masters and teachers. Usually when I give a reading, I open the records specifically of that person so that a more specific information come. And then I specifically ask to be granted access to this sacred book of this other person. Otherwise, we have access only to our records or to everything that has something to do with us. And because now I'm on your channel, it has something to do with me as well. So this information is also in my records. Yes. So one thing that is important to know is, and I'm just going to say whatever they're saying. So
yes, of course.
It's important to work. So there are some big topics in the world we need to work with and to heal. And one of them for each one of us is the relationship with our parents, mother and father. We, regardless of what spiritual work we have done, if we still feel some pain, some insult, some wounds, something negative in the relationship with our parents, we need to heal that. Also, working with the feminine energy is very important to heal the feminine energy, to master the divine feminine energy within us, because nowadays many women became confused about what it means to be a woman.
So now I know why I draw so many women on the channel. Okay, good.
Yeah. Society has been teaching us false things, wrong things, because that's what society knew. Most of the people didn't have bad intentions. They just gave back what they received themselves as well. But there is a great imbalance of energies in the world. And one of these is between feminine and masculine. So the feminine nowadays, you either feel like too masculine.
Yes, fantastic.
Or like, if you're very pretty, people will say, oh, you know, she spends too much time in front of the mirror. or if she is like a great entrepreneur and very successful, they'll say, oh, she's just bossy. So, and this kind of kills our like parts of us which want to blossom.
Can you tell your masters to pause? I am unsure if I will be able to translate this, but I will tell you just in a second how great things you said. Yes. Zapytałam się oczywiście, żeby tutaj przekonać tych mistrzów, żeby mogli tutaj się wypowiedzieć na pewne tematy, więc zadałam takie osobiste i dla nas pytanie, w jaki sposób ten mój kanał, jaki jest najlepszy cel tego kanału, żebyśmy poszli najlepszą ścieżką dalej. Jak mój kanał ma najlepiej służyć, moja czy tutaj praca. I Jana mówi, że ona zazwyczaj jak czyta reading ma dla kogoś, to ona otwiera Kronika Akaszy tej danej osoby. No ale skoro ona jest na moim kanale i to dotyczy bardziej kanału, powiedziała fajne rzeczy, już zaczęła, pewnie ma więcej, ja postaram się to przetłumaczyć tak jak potrafię, najlepiej, ja już pewnie połowę zapomniałam. Mistrzowie mówią, że praca tutaj na tym kanale dotyczy wielkich tematów i to są, pierwszy taki temat to są relacje, że to czym się zajmujemy i być może za mało się tym jeszcze zajmujemy, chociaż już zaczęliśmy, to są relacje. I ona wspomina o relacjach na przykład z rodzicami, że wielu tutaj z nas, jeśli nie poukładało sobie tych relacji właśnie rodzinnych, to jest pierwsze, które należałoby uleczyć, zająć się tym. To jest bardzo, bardzo ważny, taki największy temat. I drugi, właśnie kiedy te sprawy kobiece, energia kobieca, kiedy jest dużo dezorientacji, kiedy kobiety są, mówi się o nich właśnie, że jeżeli są dobrymi bizneswomen, to są za bardzo takie na męskiej energii jadą, jeśli są ładne, to mówią, że są frywolne, czy spędzają za dużo czasu przed lustrem, że są dezorientowane. I to są dwa takie wielkie tematy, którym akurat, zobaczcie, że ona nie wie, o czym jest mój kanał, ale dużo tych filmików myśmy już zrobili na te tematy. Więc ci mistrzowie tutaj bardzo się wpasowali. Jana nigdy nie słuchała żadnego filmiku na moim kanale i trafiła, te filmiki są, ale będziemy być może dalej nad tym tutaj właśnie też pracować, o tym mówić i też jest dużo braku harmonii, tego balansu na świecie, to jest trzecia taka rzecz na razie. I nie wiem, czy ktoś czyta czasami opisy kanału, ale tam właśnie ja zawsze na początku chciałam, żeby ten kanał był o zdrowym rozsądku, takim złotym środku, wypośrodkowaniu dla wszystkich. No trochę tutaj ze stoicyzmu pobrałam oczywiście, ale właśnie z tego dystansu, z tego złotego środka w sobie możemy zobaczyć, dostrzec prawdę. I hope I translated that, but I just mentioned that you never heard any video on my channel and you have no idea what are the topics, and your masters said it perfectly. Because long time ago, when I was thinking, okay, what is the purpose of it? I wrote a common sense, you know, this gold middle within us So we can see from this perspective, from this core within us, was the truth. And I wanted so much to do more about the proper communication, you know, the relationships, partnership, of course. And there was a lot about this narcissism, different forms within women, within men. How does it work? What can we do about it? And that was my core at the very beginning. And of course, I'm giving it still. But of course, this channel started to live its own life because every guest brings something unique, something specific, something great to the table. So now it's very, very, you know, rich. It's a lot of dreaming, paranormal stuff too. It's about politics too, about social things. One doesn't exist without another. But you mentioned very important thing that it's something that when we tend to do political topics, more people tend to view it. More people look at that, listen to that, comment on that. When it is about relationships, healing that part, it's not always, at least not on my channel, maybe on that, or maybe, you know, maybe I still have to improve something to make sure that everybody can get it, can understand it, or resonate with someone about these topics. But I noticed that, you know, those topics about politics, about how bad it's gonna be, even in media, this is not considering only my channel, it's always more catchy. You know, you're gonna hear that, oh my God, the bomb exploded here and here, and everybody going there. But if it's about, okay, now heal your relationship with your parents, right? Not
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, it's very difficult to do that personal healing, and not everybody is ready for that. And I always say to people at seminars and people who work with, let's say, spirituality or spiritual topics, that they're really brave people, because it takes a lot of bravery to look into the mirror. It takes a lot of bravery to say, okay, maybe there is something I'm doing that is causing whatever result I'm seeing in my life. Maybe I'm not the victim. Maybe I'm the master of my life, and it's my responsibility, and I have to do something about it. So, and especially topics with, you know, with parents, with family, with children, they are very deep, and there is layer after layer after layer what we heal and what we go through, and it's not always easy. But if we don't do it, our life is kind of screwed.
That's true.
So we have to do it.
Yeah. So perhaps a good question would be, how, with everyone who joins me on this channel, how we can, you know, smoothly, nicely, and because, you know, people maybe think that it's going to be painful, you know, maybe we can do it in a more entertaining, fun way to deal with those things that required actually bravery, being almost a hero, because the worst monsters coming from the childhood, right? So the question maybe is about this: how can we do it so so it is better, so I can soothe all of us? Because apparently I'm here on this side, but I get a feeling that everyone who's with me, we do it together. I have that sense also for that channel, that there are people out there who are supporting me by their presence, and this is amazing feeling. So how can we all make it better so it's entertaining for us? I mean, more pleasant on this channel.
Yeah. Or like, how can we trick ourselves to do what we should do?
Or how can Joanna trick everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a free will. So yeah.
I always laugh and say to people who come to the seminars that they got tricked by their soul, that they're going there to learn how to work with the Akashic Records, but actually they're going there to heal their relationship with their parents, to heal their wounds around abundance, to heal their body, you know, to deal with all the things they didn't want to deal with.
Wow.
They were kind of gently pushed into the direction of doing that. So it's important to stay on the level of the solution, to stay on the level of the goal, not to stay on the level of the problem. And it's also important to find the fastest, most efficient technique possible.
Yeah.
So the pain is very short.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be painful, but it will always be at least a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit, you know, like doing something new. But this will be for a short period of time, and then comes the wonderful new life. So
Reward.
The reward, yeah. And what you can do in the channel, especially to do that. What you can do is maybe share some success stories of people who have gone through such processes. So people don't focus on that's, you know, I have to cry and I have to forgive and I have to, you know.
Right. And we do it right now. Your story is pretty successful.
Yeah, that's true. But then when people see what happens on the other side, actually the success part, the joy that the person has, that will be inspiring. Maybe I can share a few stories or a few examples from clients I had. Do you think this will be interesting?
Yes, that would be absolutely interesting because I think we all, it's like a skill that untrained muscle for some people. I think it's just, you know, a few months more and it's pretty normal that we do have all access to Akasha and, you know, and just let me shortly translate that. Zapytałam jeszcze Janę tutaj, jak możemy to zrobić wszystko przyjemniej, bo wiadomo, Jana tutaj też mówi, że to wymaga naprawdę żeby przyjrzeć się swoim relacjom z rodziną, z partnerem i jak to wiemy zawsze w mediach, wszystko co jest o polityce zawsze ma, że tak powiem, duże branie, wszyscy tam gdzie coś eksplodowało, wszyscy tam lgną, ale właśnie jak już jest o uleczeniu takich właśnie bardzo raniących czy związków, no to nie jest to tak, no my chcemy odpocząć po prostu. Więc zapytałam, jak możemy to zrobić tak samo, w przyjemny sposób, żeby to było interesujące dla nas. I Jana tutaj mówi, żebyśmy zostawali zawsze na poziomie rozwiązania, żeby właśnie tutaj zauważać, że to nawet ten ból, on jest bardzo krótki, ten moment dyskomfortu będzie bardzo krótki, a nagroda jest właśnie zmiana naszego życia poprzez rozwinięcie tej świadomości. Także to tutaj wy oceniacie, czy te filmiki tutaj, kiedy ja coś podaję, czy one są nastawione na rozwiązania, ale też i pozwoliłam sobie dodać, że właśnie to robimy, ponieważ Jana ma bardzo tutaj, jej życie się niesamowicie dobrze zmieniło, kiedy nauczyła się właśnie tych czytania z Kronik Akaszy i weszła w to pole, żeby też dzielić się właśnie z tymi historiami pełnymi sukcesu. No i ona chciałaby wam też kilka takich właśnie z życia i jej klientów, ludzi, których zna, podzielić się z wami. Okay, so some inspiration from the clients you had and how their lives changed.
So for the past 10 years, I have so many stories there, so many interesting things to say. But okay, I'm just one interesting thing. maybe I had a client, she moved into a new apartment, and it turned out that there is a ghost in the apartment. And she was freaking out and didn't know what to do. So she came to me and asked me who is that and what she can do about it. And they told her, the masters and teachers, that it's the ghost or the spirit of the mother of her landlord, who used to live in the apartment before that, and she died there. And she doesn't know that she's dead. She hasn't realized it yet. So my client had to explain to her nicely that she has passed away. And she also was invited to bring some cookies on the balcony as a peace offering, so to say, for the lady. And then there were a few other more personal things for my client to do. And the fun thing was that after she did that, some secret door or some secret cabinets fell open in the kitchen, and she found there some photos of the lady and her family, some black and white photos. So she packed them gently and sent them to the sun. And later the neighbors told her that the old lady, she used to eat biscuits on her balcony every day while drinking.
Oh, cute. Yeah, fantastic.
So after doing these rituals, then the spirit felt good and respected and honored, and she left. She
could go.
Yeah, she could go. She could continue on her journey. So that's one, I would say, fun story.
It is. Let me translate. Była historia, kiedy taki klasyk, duch był w domu pani, która przeprowadziła się do domu i przebiegła do Jany, ponieważ bała się, co z tym duchem zrobić. Mistrzowie powiedzieli, żeby wystawiła ciasteczka na balkonie i tam jeszcze kilka innych rzeczy zrobiła. I co się potem stało? Okazało się, że krótko później w szufladzie gdzieś w kuchni znalazła zdjęcia tej kobiety, która tam żyła wcześniej, więc wysłała do syna tej rodziny te zdjęcia, a potem spotkała sąsiada, który powiedział, że ta pani właśnie lubiła jadać ciasteczka na balkonie, tam gdzie mistrzowie powiedzieli, żeby je wystawiła. Taka cudna synchronizacja. Bardzo interesująca opowieść. Very inspiring story. And you probably have plenty of that during your all your life. You probably have it. I get probably several emails or different exactly these stories about ghosts, about and of course people don't know what to do sometimes, but sometimes they find the solutions. And this is actually something that makes me happy, because they find a solution because they know now how to work with it. Yes. So it's absolutely great that when you teach someone how to do it, they can tell you a story, hey, I got a ghost, and now they told me what to do and it worked, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There are many stories about different topics. Maybe another one that is interesting, might relate to some people, is I once had a client, she came and she felt really depressed and sad, and she was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Tell me what's wrong with me. I don't know. I feel weird here. I'm different. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I asked in the records, and that was actually like many years ago in the beginning, when I started working with the records, and they told me she's an alien. And I was like, I cannot say that. She would think I'm crazy. They're like, no, she's an alien soul that came for the first time here on Earth. And that's why everything is so weird for her. And that's why she feels so different. But she came here as an explorer to learn about our ways here on Earth, and to also help us, to support us with her energy. And I told her that. I was like, I'm sorry, I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but they say you're an alien soul coming here for the first time. And she said, I knew it.
Oh, fantastic. Była historia, kiedy przyszła do niej klientka w depresji, nie wiedziała, co się z nią dzieje, nic nie pasowało i Jana słyszy, że ona nie jest stąd, że jest jakiejś innej rasy. I mówi, że do tych mistrzów, że no nie może jej czegoś takiego powiedzieć. No ale jej powiedziała. No i ta klientka bardzo dobrze na to zareagowała, że no to teraz ma to znaczenie, teraz to ma sens, dlaczego ona się tak się czuje i oczywiście wytłumaczyła jej, że doświadcza tego życia na ziemi, jak to tutaj jest. Did they tell you from what race or planet was that woman?
I don't remember. That was long time
okay, long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have maybe another more traumatic story, but it's one of my most favorite ones because it's, I don't know, I mean, it was very impactful and interesting. It was, so a woman came to me and she had an eating disorder. Her body was rejecting almost any kind of food. I think she could eat just like tomatoes and eggs.
Yeah.
Something weird. It wasn't an allergy. It was like doctors didn't really know what it is. And she had many health issues because her body was lacking nutrients and it was very difficult for her to live. She always had to, she couldn't eat in restaurants. She couldn't eat with friends. She was just throwing up all the time. But she didn't want to, just her body was rejecting the food. So we asked in the records what was the root cause of that. And they showed us a past life she had. And she's a Muslim in this life. And she was a Muslim in that past life as well. Mm-hmm. And they showed that she was in a city which was surrounded by the Christian Crusades. Mm-hmm. And people fight, we have wars in the name of God.
Yeah.
We're just funny that way. And so these soldiers, they surrounded the city and they basically starved the city to death. And many people died and people were killing each other inside the city to steal food from each other. They were even killing each other and eating each other's bodies. I mean, it was like a very terrible picture. And what happened with this woman was that her family came and stole all of her food and threw her out of the house. They didn't kill her, but they took all of her food. So she died out of hunger. And her body has remembered this trauma because while she was dying, she was cursing God and her family and her life for this terrible death that she was experiencing. And
curses are bounding.
Yes, and it was a very strong negative feelings that she had in this moment. Yes. And of course, God was not angry with her for cursing, but this was something that the soul needed to heal within itself. And that's why basically when maybe you have done fasting, when you don't eat food for a long period of time, then you cannot just start eating abundant food at once. Your body will reject it.
Could reject it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what was happening with her now. Her body remembered the
hunger,
the starving, and now was rejecting the food. Even though there was enough food, it was rejecting it. So that was what was happening. And and when she heard that, she actually said that her family now, even though they're wealthy and have enough food, they come in her apartment and they steal food from her fridge.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And yeah, funny enough, some of the people in her family were also her family in the past life, so they incarnated again together. So
funny, ironically, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
So
it heal? What the master said to heal her?
yes, so she had to do, I mean, we did a healing session on the spot, especially for, you know, for religion and for forgiving God and forgiving yourself. And then they told her what else she needs to do to forgive also the other people who harmed her in the past. So there was a lot of forgiveness work. And these are always three aspects we need to work with: to forgive ourselves, to forgive the people, and to forgive God. And not because God did something bad to us, but because we feel internally that something unfair happened. So we carry this negative energy within ourselves, and we need to free ourselves of that. And they also taught her some other things she can do with her diet and how she can heal that for herself. So it was a longer process, but yeah, she improved a lot as a result.
That story is brilliant because I touched on those, you know, health problems connected with trauma, stress, nervous system a lot on my channel already. But this is what's happening a lot to mostly women, although some guys call me with this. And yeah, it has tremendous impact. So this story is great. I will do my best to translate right now. Because I think it can inspire a lot of people again to look at that. If you know that these problems are not only health problems, they are related to other time or reincarnation, and that we need to take a look at that. Postaram się przetłumaczyć teraz tą piękną historię i myślę, że was to zainspiruje, szczególnie tych, którzy też pisaliście mi o tym. I sama mówiłam, jak bardzo ten cały stres, trauma, jak to wsiada na nasze żołądki, ale nie tylko w tym życiu, ale i w poprzednim. Więc była sobie klientka, która miała, nie mogła już nic jeść, jadła tylko pomidory chyba i jajka. I jej ciało odrzucało każdy pokarm, czyli ona jeśli coś tam zjadła, to wymiotowała. Następnie poszła tutaj do Jany i ci mistrzowie pokazali jej taką historię, że ona i w tym życiu też była z wyznania islamskiego i w poprzednim życiu tak samo. I była to święta wojna, jak to bywa z wojnami, gdzie była wtedy właśnie, był najazd katolików nie wiem, czy to był jakiś zamek, ponieważ ja już tutaj miałam obrazy w głowie i katolicy doprowadzili do tego, że w tym mieście otoczonym nie było już jedzenia i jej własna rodzina odebrała jej jedzenie i ją wygnała. Nie skończyło się to jak u innych, gdzie dochodziło i do kanibalizmu. Natomiast ona, umierając z głodu, miała tak bardzo negatywne uczucia i przeklęła Boga, rodzinę i w związku z tym właśnie tutaj dalej ten proces się powtórzył. I tutaj bardzo piękny proces leczenia powstał, dlatego że Jana od razu pracowała nad metodami uzdrawiającymi ten przypadek, gdzie powiedzieli mistrzowie, że musi wybaczyć sobie, Bogu i wszystkim ludziom, którzy ją zranili. I assume that this problem stopped. She could eat later on and she could enjoy the food. I didn't finish the translation yet. Just one more sentence. Jeszcze jedna ciekawostka. W tej reinkarnacji ta kobieta zaśmiała się i powiedziała też, że to ciekawe, bo jej rodzina, mimo że teraz są bardzo bogaci i mają dużo jedzenia, ta rodzina przychodzi do niej do domu i kradnie jej jedzenie. To było takie dosyć ironicznie śmieszne. No i oczywiście mistrzowie tam dali jej inne takie porady na temat, co tam jeszcze może, z czym może spróbować i jak do tego się odnieść. Także myślę, że to jest bardzo ważny temat, dlatego że no niestety Nasze żołądki zawsze są najwrażliwsze i jelita, jeśli chodzi o każdy stres i każdą taką informację, która wzbudza nas strach. I just added to it that is so inspiring, so good, because really the stress and everything what's happening, you know, right after pandemic, the Ukrainian, you know, now the political, now economy and everything. So what is affected first? It's our nervous system, gut, stomach, and then of course it comes from the reincarnation, because the whole thing, maybe what's happening in the world right now, it's repeating because we maybe didn't finish something in the past lives. We didn't do it so well. Maybe we cursed someone. So now we have a great chance to repeat the history and make it better.
Yeah, I mean, depending what's going on in our life, we have our own lessons to do in these moments. For some people, maybe it's some karma that needs to be repaid. Some people came to help and to support the processes, but it's no coincidence we are here now. It was our choice. It was our conscious choice. Nobody forced us. And we're just great adventurers to have chosen to be here and now. And
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that all of these are topics that are interesting for everyone, and I know that, and I have written a book about it, which is actually going to go out be published in English and in Polish this year. So yeah, that's
fantastic. Let's get to that right now. Jana mówi, że my oczywiście wybieramy sobie te wszystkie doświadczenia, że tutaj wybieramy sobie te wszystkie przygody na ziemi i przychodzimy z własnej woli. I teraz przejdziemy, słuchajcie, gdzie możecie znaleźć Janę, co ona tam jeszcze porabia, ponieważ napisała książkę i po polsku będzie książka, i po angielsku, oczywiście nie napisała jej po polsku, została przetłumaczona. I just mentioned you didn't write in Polish, but it was translated probably for you. So where this book is available, what is the title of it, and how we can get it?
Yes, so it's going to be published, so still you cannot get it, but it will be published this year. And the title is The 5 Lessons from the Masters, 5 life lessons from the masters and teachers. And I touch on the 5 most important topics we have in life. They're about, you know, relationships with our family, with our loved, with our partner, finances, health, and our calling, our soul purpose. And I also describe a few such fun examples of readings that I just mentioned now, because I know that this is also interesting for people. Yeah, so I think that's
so let me correct that because that book is not yet available, but it will be. So this was about relationship, health, calling, finances.
Yes.
Okay.
And relationships with family and friends, and love relationships, because
okay, you divide
that topic is very big for people as well.
Fantastic. Okay. Ta książka, ona wyjdzie w tym roku, ona dotyczy 5 lekcji od mistrzów i Jana tutaj dotyka najważniejszych tematów, związek do siebie, do rodziny, w miłości, relacje z finansami, ze zdrowiem, i ta misja życiowa o tym mówi. I ta książka będzie wydana w tym roku właśnie też po polsku. Yana, you are going to be in Poland one more time, and I think you have seminars in Poland. Can you tell us a little bit more when these seminars will happen? Do you have a date already?
Yes, sure. Yes, so I teach also online seminars in German and in Bulgarian and in English, and they're on my website. But in Poland, we do them in person, and we have a seminar, or actually a retreat in mountains scheduled for end of August, beginning of September this year, 2022. and also one seminar scheduled for November that will be in Warsaw.
End of September, you said, right? September, August?
End of August, beginning of September. Yeah.
Okay, that's the. Jana będzie w Polsce prowadziła osobiście seminaria, ponieważ ona teraz też robi je online i w różnych językach. Natomiast będzie, oczywiście, że będzie tłumacz i te warsztaty, seminaria, taki retreat będzie w górach. Koniec sierpnia, początek września i potem będzie w listopadzie. I myślę, że więcej informacji ja podam po prostu Jany stronę, gdzie ona będzie cały opis i gdzie się zgłaszać. I wtedy każdy, kto będzie zainteresowany, oczywiście już może bezpośrednio z nią się skontaktować, jeśli mówicie po angielsku, a jeśli nie, na pewno będzie jakiś kontakt czy do tłumacza, czy do organizatora polskiego. I'm just saying that we are going to put your website under this video, so people can directly find your work, and also sign for the workshops with you, and email to someone. For those people who don't speak English, they can connect with someone who can translate for you, or the organizer, or so on. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. So for Poland, we have a wonderful person who is doing the organizing for us. His name is Wlodek, and he's professional. He has been organizing many spiritual seminars for many years, and so you get a very professional support from him.
Zatem już wiemy, kto jest organizatorem i kto będzie te zgłoszenia przyjmował. Jest to Włodek z Ars Libra. Niektórzy już o nim słyszeli. Jak będzie taka możliwość, tutaj jeszcze on nam opowie. On organizuje te różne i też retreaty po całym świecie, podróże, pisze do gazety Czwarty Wymiar, więc ma niesamowite doświadczenie i niesamowity pejzaż doświadczeń, bo już miałam przyjemność porozmawiać, więc do niego będą te zgłoszenia i podamy wszelkie informacje. I'm just adding that Włodek is an amazing person with an enormously rich, experience all over the world. He's organizing retreats in other countries also with many different teachers, and also, his spiritual journey is enormously rich because we had a moment already talking with him. Wonderful. So that's fantastic. I'm glad that you connected.
Yeah, he's great. And he also does, during the Akashic Records seminar, he does a gong meditation every day for 1 hour. So we have a beautiful meditation and gong concert as well with him. Yeah.
I Włodek tutaj jeszcze nas zaskoczy, ponieważ gra na gongach, czyli będzie też robił takie koncerty i wstępy na tych całych warsztatach, więc przygotujcie się, kto będzie miał ochotę uczestniczyć na gongi. Jana, I am so thankful that you gravitated to me, to us, to everyone here, and I also thank your masters who are channeling for us today. Actually, you're channeling, but you're hearing, they telling us some information, how we can best, approach whatever happens. And before we started, you asked me, will it take half an hour? I can tell you right now, we are here almost 2 hours, 1 hour and 38 minutes. And I knew that it's going to go this way. But you didn't know that yet, but now you know how it is to be a guest. So I hope you're ready for the next time. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Joanna. It was really wonderful. I love talking about the Akashic Records, and you are a very gracious host, and it was wonderful to talk to you. And yeah, thank you very much for all the wonderful work you are doing. And the masters and teachers want to thank you as well, and to tell you to trust in yourself and keep on going. You're on the right track. The world needs more people like you who shine and who don't give up, and
that's so sweet.
the truth and the light into the world. So thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for having me on the channel. It was a real pleasure.
I feel you. I felt your masters. Thank you so, so much. I'm just gonna translate this last part. W tym momencie dziękujemy sobie. Ja jestem wdzięczna i Janie, i czuję chwilami nawet tutaj, jak mówią ci mistrzowie do niej, i rzeczywiście jest tam bardzo taki fajny, długi spokój. I też powiedziałam, Jana się pytała przed samym wejściem, ile będzie trwało to nagranie, czy to będzie pół godziny? Ja mówię, no chyba nie. No i teraz ona już wie, jak to u nas jest tutaj, jak te nagrania wyglądają, więc następnym razem już będzie wiedziała, czego może się spodziewać. Ja dziękuję Wam, Jana dziękuję Wam, dziękuję mistrzowie, dziękuję, że robimy tą pracę razem. Nie poddajemy się, idziemy dalej i świecimy swoim najpiękniejszym światłem. Dziękuję. Thank you. How is thank you in Bulgarian?
Благодаря.
Bogodaja. Bogodaja wszyscy. Dziękuję.
Thank you. Vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank. Yes.